I can't resist but keep posting in LinkedIn, I love Beckn protocol. Every once in a while. And people must have been tired with it. I think. He's saying, of course you love Beckn protocol. You did it, you created part of created. And one thing is clear, how much we resonate. The idea of Beckn resonates irrespective of where you are. Tell the team about a little bit of origin story of Beckn. Now, everybody knows origin story of Aadhaar. I think UPI origin story probably is being talked about these days, but nobody talks about origin story because we are new. New kid in the block. Long way to go, by the way. And that's why I think all of you are here. So the origin story was actually as early as 2014. 2014 September is when I wrote, how do we deal with decentralized credential architecture, which became DigiLocker. Became vision for DigiLocker. But DigiLocker did not implement actually fully decentralized system because once we told Métis, they said, okay, our app and that's it. Good enough. One app is good enough. So it's when the Beam way, only Beam app basically, think of that way. We don't have any other app. But the vision, the original vision that we architected, because I was drawing up and I was inspiring. I because of my computer science background, I've been working on what's called, distributed systems for a long time, in 90s onwards. So I've been in this protocol world, middleware world, decentralized or distributed, then called distributed world, quite a lot. So it keeps coming back to me saying, how do we deal with many providers, many consumers? Do we need something in the middle, or can we take care of, build some sort of protocol that actually deals with this interconnections and coordinations? So that was the first attempt. And I didn't write it, actually. Our original DigiLocker vision paper, so actually on Métis' website, I think still, does talk about a little bit of that diagram of decentralized diagram, but I don't think we implemented well. We implemented as a decentralized one. It's implemented well, it's successful, but it's not implemented fully as decentralized. Then I get another opportunity, again, in 2014 itself, to build UPI. So when UPI discussion came, we did the same discussion. So I was actually pushing NPCI. Dilip was there, of course. Yeah, Dilip is brilliant. Dilip is the CEO of NPCI. And then, of course, brainstorming and giving us directions of where the payment world is going and things like that. He has a larger, mental model of the trends and so on, right? Which we all benefit out of. So when that happened, we actually wrote. We wanted to do, by the way, the UPI protocol was written in, say, it can even run across multiple switches. We never executed it because we only have one NPCI. But if RBI actually were to give multiple licenses like NPCI, it can actually spread itself. UPI protocol is actually agnostic and it can actually cut across multi-switch architecture. But because we built it with NPCI, I said, what do you mean multi-switch? We are the switch, right? So obviously, it worked out, but nevertheless, there is a settlement guarantee aspect of the money. When it comes to money, that settlement is very, very key. And because of that, there is, you can argue that it is semi-centralized. It's decentralized in innovation, decentralized in use cases, is decentralized across the ecosystem, UPI, but centralized for settlement. Okay, that's how the architecture is. And so, but that was successful. UPI was tremendously successful by 2016-17. We were seeing, hey, this is going to really figure out. What is the other one? Nandan actually talks about something called, always tells us that trend is your friend. Okay, that means people who can read the trend and try to meet where the world is going to be, then you have a higher chance of cracking the puzzle. And, entrepreneurs and everybody looks for that. I mean, we have VCs, everybody looks for the same thing, right? Where is the world going and how can I time it? Correct. So I think it is critical that we analyze it. And what does it show us? It shows, I think, first time in the history of humanity, every human being is walking around with a powerful computer in their hand, which did not happen before. And without that, everything had a server or some sort of a large provisioning intermediary necessary. But now it is getting really, really stretched to the hands of the people. And it is only going to next. That trend is not stopping, by the way. It will go beyond smartphones to you become the computing device. That's where the world is going, because it'll all get immersed in one sense. The merger of us and the computing environment, right? That's what's going to happen. It'll happen. There's no question about it. And that tells that, and the connectivity. The two parts about that has really worked out well for us is the connectivity and computing in the hands of the people. It is at that time, it gives us a better opportunity to reimagine what could the world look like. And that's why we were post UPI, Nandan and I again were saying, how do we look at, and this was a very peculiar India discussion. Frankly, it was not a world discussion. India discussion where we are starting to see this quasi-monopoly story or duopoly stories emerging. And by then, we were already starting to see, drivers unhappy, because of the, it was, that somehow MasterCard and Visa looks good boys to us, right? Frankly, compared to some of this, because after all, they charge only 3%. It's not so bad, right? Yeah. Only because you were shamelessly charging 50%, 40%, and so on. And this is one of those things that we were analyzing to say, how does India progress? How do we create? Because in Nandan and in 2016, again, by the way, Nandan had two seminal talks. And one talk was about data empowerment, why Indians will be data rich before they're economically rich. And we believe data become a true asset for us to put ourselves in a virtuous cycle of improvement, right? And that's why we pushed the agenda of DigiLocker with DIPA at that time, and then account aggregator network and so on. That's that trend. And the second one he talked about is why India will remain an economy of micro is the new mega. That's what he said. Micro is the new mega. I think it's going to be many, many, many micro enterprises and entrepreneurs, company of one. He said, company of one. And interestingly, with AI, it's actually becoming true, right? You are starting to see a very, very tiny companies having the ability to actually do what otherwise company had to recruit thousands of people to achieve. And AT&T had to recruit 500,000 people to do what they did. And, whereas, the larger companies, Uber and all, gets a few thousands of people. And then WhatsApp and all showed 50 people, 100 people. Now it's like with AI, it's going to be compressed even more. So what does it mean? Is that the traditional job is completely shifting its game. There's the labor laws and the entire thing, what we call industrial era, mental model of how we track jobs, track earnings, and all that thing is completely changing because we moved from industrial era to information era to intelligence era. In the intelligence era, we have not even idea. We have no idea how the equity will be distributed in the society. We actually don't know, okay? So we have still yet to crack that puzzle. Maybe some IIM professors here can take it up if they're there to actually study how it's going to go. So with these two trends, we said if India is going to remain micro, many, many micro entrepreneurs, and India is going to have, this monopoly or large tech intermediary play, how do we tackle? And that's when we started thinking, why? And I come from a supply chain background, all my 20, 30 years plus, I've been in supply chain, in commerce and e-commerce and retail supply chain. So I understood that really well, the domain really well. So we started asking this question, can we create a protocol like HTTP that completely connects, creates discovery, coordination, contracting, closure of that contract and tracking and all that thing. And then we left it there. As always, we discuss something when we don't do anything about it because sometimes it's just wacko idea. It doesn't stick at all. And then we kept coming up every couple of months. And then I would say, we should do that. Actually, we should really, I think it's brewing in our head. But we had no energy to do because I just ordered people. I don't know if you can actually do anything. Yeah. So then this guy shows up, right? Sujit shows up. Sujit shows up saying, okay, I'm looking at something. Is it? There you go. So we have our guy to execute. So I somehow convinced him to quit all his job, stop earning any money, whatever you've been earning, stop earning, and do something bigger in your life. And and he was kind enough, to say yes to it. And that goes the story. That goes the story how you guys kicked ass. It's just crazy how well you really brought this together after that, right? So that's the origin story. And then what do we see? Because the idea is so sticky. When computing is spreading decentralized, connectivity is available, the ability for the, ability for any two nodes to interact, whether it's AI agents, individuals, companies, to interact, direct, and coordinate is almost become straightforward, technically. Now, of course, there are questions about complaints, contract violations, and the governance thereof. Definitely those questions come up. But this idea is absolutely, time has come, it's going to happen, it's happening, quick and fast.